Hi there, I'm Greg, the Masked Gamer, and today we're going to be talking about Primal the Awakening. It comes in a box so big that you can't even see my face. In fact, in addition to this one big box, it comes with 5 other boxes worth of expansions. It's a big game. Again, I'm Greg, the Masked Gamer, and if you're new to my channel, this is a place where we come to talk about board games, which is a great hobby to play in a COVID-safe, disease-safe space. However, today I'm filming this review by myself, so I am going to take my mask off, but when I have guests here at the house playing together, we do wear masks to keep each other safe. So, today we're going to talk about Primal the Awakening. It has big monsters. This is a boss battler game. It's one of my favorite releases this year. This game is massive. There is such a huge decision space to it. And the design is so great, but there are some caveats to that, which we'll get into as I talk about the game. In this game, you kill giant monsters. You can play a campaign version where you can level up in between encounters, or you can counter every monster as a one-shot. The thing that makes this game unique compared to other boss battlers is the way that the monsters work. So in this game, the monsters have this, this reaction board, and there's no actual monster turn. So what'll happen is when one of these conditions gets triggered, that card will get revealed and the monster will do terrible things to you. And it's really quite a feat what they've done with this, in that each and every monster's with this 9-card deck is completely unique, needs completely different tactics to approach it. And I've played all of the base game monsters and 2 of the expansion monsters. I've played through the base game campaign once, but I died terribly on the final boss, and honestly, it was just too much for my brain to handle as a solo player. So I'm actually starting this game again this weekend with a group of, as a 3-player campaign experience where we're going to put in all of the expansion content as well. But like I said, like the monsters are very different in this. This base game monster that we have here, that you play through the prologue, likes to set things on fire, protect itself with its wings. If you cut its tail off, you do a whole bunch of damage to it. But you might also fight something like this giant insect monster thing that summons lightning storms all around the board, and you can attack it from all over, but if you're not constantly moving, you're going to get hit by the lightning. Or you could fight this giant monster who has this very large back of rocks, and you could actually climb on top of the rocks. I wish there was a way to do this with the figure, but there isn't. I just kind of throw the figure on there when I'm going to do that. But you can actually climb and mount the monster to do damage to it. There's crab monsters in shells. There's snake monsters who poison you. There's monsters that look like misbegotten raptors from Jurassic Park that will run away on the second turn of the combat if you don't manage to stop them. The monsters are so different in this, and I'm not going to do a playthrough to show it because the surprises and the sense of discovery when you're fighting these things is wild. And then you happen to get all the way through it, you get an even bigger monster. This is the Awakened. The Awakened is the big boss battle monster of the game. This is one of those games that makes me wish I could paint. This game also makes me wish that they had a version without the standees, because the gameplay itself is so freaking fantastic that it would be great if they had a lower budget, more compact version. As it is, the game takes up 2 full shelves, not Calic shelves, different shelves on the other wall to fill out. Now, on top of these amazingly unique monsters, you also have these amazingly unique characters to play. So, like the 3 that we're going to be playing as, we have Mira of the Great Bow, and we have Thoreg with the Great Hammer, and we have Helena, who's an expansion character, with the Great Gun, and there's also the one with the Great Dual Blades, and the Great Sword and Shield, and the Great Sword. And like the whole like theme of it seems to be very much along the lines of that Monster Hunter franchise. I've never played the Monster Hunter board games. I'm not really into the Monster Hunter video games, but I am very into Primal. Now, the thing that makes this really work is this is a deck builder and a deck building game as well. So like if you are playing as Thoreg, for example, you get this whole, these are just his starting cards. Every card in this deck is unique. They are unique, individualized cards. And the thing that's really exciting is when you can chain things together in a way. So let's say I play this card, and then after this whirlwind card, I played another blue card, and then after that blue card, I played a red card. The synergy of whirlwind would kick in and increase the damage of my attack card. And as you level up in the game and you get more powerful, you get these really, really wild combos where you can, like, on one turn, churn out such massive, epic amounts of damage. And at the same time, because each of the things that you do might trigger those monsters to do something different, while you're doing that ton of damage, the monster could turn around and do a massive amount of damage to you. And the amounts of, like, highs and lows that come in combat on this are, like, I think even beyond Kingdom Death Monster. Like, the turns are wild. Playing through the campaign the first time, I think that I lost probably 60% of the fights I did, so I played quite a lot of battles. I would always win by this much, or I would always lose by this much. It always came very, very close at the end, which is great because it's always something where just one more wrong decision is going to be what costs you the game, and that's just a great space to be in for an epic scale of a co-op adventure game. So this is just a starter deck of cards, right? In addition to that, you level up in between the missions. So, for example, Thoreg, depending on which monster you kill, and you can get these abilities, and you can get a fire hammer, or a stone hammer, or a lightning hammer, or a crystal hammer. So many hammers, so many different monsters. And each of those weapons also gives you a different set of, you can see on the left-hand side here, there's these colors, and that's how many of each color you can use to build your deck. So your weapon is going to also adjust how you build your deck. And as you upgrade your level, you also will get these extra cards to put into your deck, including like a massive once per game that's going to be different. And really, in between every encounter, you have to rebuild your deck, pick different weapons, pick different armaments. This is just the fire set for it as an example. Each element has its own set of helm, armor, and two kind of extra items you can use. And you really have to think through, what do I think this monster is going to throw at me? How am I going to equip myself for that? Oh, that didn't work. It destroyed us, but now we know how that monster works. So next time we know how to build our decks to make that work. And the strategy and the build out behind it is great. So all I've done is talk about how much I love this game. So what's wrong with Primal the Awakening, you may ask? Tokens. Health tokens. Counter tokens. They're flying across the board. These are all of the different, here's the, you can't even see it. You can't even see it. This is an example of, in the base game, all of the different kinds of status tokens that can affect you as a player. The monster also has a whole bunch of different status tokens that can affect them. This is just for the base game. We did not even talk about all of the terrain tokens that can come into play. It is a fiddly experience. And, you know, the rules for each of these things is so complex. They're not written on the components, so you are constantly having to go back to the rule book. I don't think a single encounter has happened in this game where I did not make a rules mistake, where I did not miss something I could have done, where I did not miss something that could have happened to me. But even with all of that said, the experience was always so great. And it's a game that, even though it takes so long to set up and so long to pack away, and the organization is, the organization is a mess, but I just keep coming back to it. I keep playing one-shots of it. This is the only game I own that I'm playing through the campaign a second time of. Like, it says a lot. But there are some life hacks, you know. So I've taken some health dials from Dice Throne, which I now use instead of wounds, because it gets a little bit ridiculous with the wounds. Like, you could do 4 damage plus 3 times your weapon level, divided by 2 because it's got armor on, but times 3 because you made it vulnerable twice, but X, Y, Z, wed, Z. And like, you're pulling out your calculator to do the math, and I'm a person who likes math, and it's still even a little tiny bit too much math for me. But all of that said, like, I freaking love this game. They're doing a reprint later this year, Reggie Games. I mean, obviously, I own it all now, but I really hope that they make some changes with that reprint, that they maybe dial it down a little, simplify some things a little bit. I would really, really like, for example, if instead of you giving me this tiny little stun token, which is like this, if you instead gave me like a stun card, which described what stun does on it, because honestly, even when you like start putting these tokens on the monster's board, it becomes really hard to visually say, okay, this is what's going on. And I feel like if they would, instead of all of these tokens, I know I'm asking for more cards, and there's already so many cards in this, but I feel like if they gave us cards that describe those effects, that might be better. I feel like if they stole something from the John D. Clare book of card building, if instead of having a level 1 version of this and then a level 2 version of this and a level 3 version of this, if instead they maybe had card sleeves where you slide the level 2 version over the level 1 version and it changes those stats. Just things to kind of condense it a little bit and make it a little less overwrought. There is one more negative that I do need to discuss, which is the narrative and the campaign for this game doesn't do it for me. I played through the whole campaign game. I can't tell you the name of a single character. I can't tell you the name of a single thing that happened. It does this thing where they use a lot of adjectives that are unnecessary and just kind of like add adjectives to try to make the story beef up. And that's not what I like from a story. I like character growth, and I like mystery, you know, like Oathsworn storyline is freaking amazing. And this, it just feels like a shell for the game, which is fine because the game is absolutely fantastic and absolutely unlike anything that I've ever played. And I just wish the campaign experience was just a little bit more to the point, because you're already spending so much time with the build outs and this, that, the other thing. And the thing I do like about the campaign is how, depending on which monsters you defeat in what order, it will open up the path to get special legendary rewards that you can only use during the campaign, and then you can use whatever monsters you defeated are going to change how the big final boss battle takes place. And I love all of that concept of it. It's just, in this, I could do without the story completely. Like, just get rid of the story. Give me the big monsters. Give me the fighting. Give me the big monsters. Give me the fighting. Give me the big monsters. Give me the fighting. And again, like, what's also wild, and I really didn't touch on before, is you look at this board has 4 spaces on it. And all of this mind-boggling decision-making that just keeps me coming back and back for more and more only has to do with, what side of the monster am I on? Can I hit it from there? What happens when it turns? Does it hit me with its tail? And all of this aspect of it is just if you look at the comments on the Kickstarter page, it's really, really entertaining, because during the development of this game, people kept complaining about there not being enough space to move. And then for me, when I'm sitting down playing it, I'm like, oh my God, there's too many options. There's too many choices. I don't know what to do with myself. But what I do like is the cards themselves and the abilities themselves give me quite a lot of text. And they really, let me show this here. So like this one is... it says, Iron Blast. Increase the damage this attack does by 2 times weaponing level. Opening, which means if it's the first card you play, it inflicts vulnerable. So like, they do a really good job with the cards themselves of explaining what everything does. And I just wish that level of hand-holding and walking me through it existed for the rest of the game, because the rule set, the glossaries are huge. Almost as huge as the dragon that comes in the box. But if you like boss battlers, if you're a fan of any of the things in this genre, I really don't think you can go wrong with this. Look up second printing, get your hands on this game. I know that this thing's been going for like wild prices on eBay. This came to my attention through like freaking Facebook ads, and I was depressed. I was like, yeah, I'll buy that. I totally forgot about it. totally forgot about it. And then it like arrived on my doorstep, and I was like, what are all these boxes? And well, one box, because I got just the base game to begin with, and then the other things came a few weeks later. But this has been such a great surprise. And this is the kind of thing that like Kickstarter and GameFound and crowdfunding is all about, right? It's about taking this company that probably would not have made this game without crowdfunding, giving them I think it took them 3 or 4 years to finally deliver on it. But wow, like what a delivery, what exquisitely detailed miniatures. If you're into that, like painting these giant beasts is gonna like make people very happy. And I can't wait to see what they come up with next. And none of that would have happened if board gaming was just a retail thing. And this is kind of where the FOMO gets me, right? Because like we have all these other games coming out, and now because I had such a great experience with this, I'm like, do I want to go all in on Odalin? Do I want to go all in on Grim Coven? Do I want to go all in on Blood? Am I going to regret those decisions? I'm probably going to regret all 3 of them, but I'm going to go all in on them anyway, because if even one of those 3 games is half as good as Primal, it'll be worth the amount of money I spent on all 3 of them. And that's my antithesis of 10 reasons why you shouldn't back this game. You know what? It's 113 degrees outside. We're probably not going to be here for that many more years anyway. Buy the games. Have fun. Enjoy yourself while you're here. That's my review that took a pretty dark turn on Primal, which incidentally I think is a post-apocalyptic setting where they screwed up their world and now the humans are finding it again. Think Horizon Zero Dawn. I am the Masked Gaymer. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, please subscribe, and don't forget to keep your health bars full.